David Visa-inspired Sussex skittled Derbyshire for 138. Derbyshire are out of the running for a rise into Division 1, but they could play kingmakers in the next couple of weeks, with the five-way battle for the final two promotion spots looking like it'll go down to the wire. Thick clouds and light drizzle guaranteed a delayed start, with the promotion-chasing visitors keen to get the match started as they hunted an all-important win. However, those conditions meant that when play would finally start 90 minutes later than scheduled, Sussex would have the ball in hand in bowling-friendly conditions. That advantage would tell after just 9 balls, Chris Jordan catching the edge of Rees's bat, Robinson making no mistake with the chance in the slips. The batting side settled and the score began to creep towards 50. That's when Topley struck, Salt holding on to a sharp chance in the slips to see Godderman depart for 22 and the bowler pick up his first county championship wicket since April 2017. The score remained the same when lunch was called, Derbyshire struggling to cope with Sussex's potent attack. Derbyshire were quickly 3 down after the interval, a Jordan Jaffa clipping the edge of Madson's bat, Garton the latest to take a sharp chance in the slips. David Visa would produce a beauty of his own to remove Hosins off stump. The big South African was flying and picked up 2 wickets in 2 balls. Critchley was first, caught at point, before McKiernan was bowled, off stump cartwheeling away. Topley would pick up another scalp as Garton palming the edge skywards onto Salt, who took the catch, deploy the man to go. Hudson Prentice helped his side breach triple figures, but he'd fall soon after, caught at deep square leg looking to hook Ollie Robinson. Delray Rawlins was at his athletic best to take a one-handed catch at point to give Garton his first wicket of the day, Palladino removed and maximum bowling points confirmed for Sussex. Visa was in irrepressible form and found the final wicket for Sussex, Dowell pushing at one outside off, only to edge through to Brown. Derbyshire all out for 138, a real boost for the South Coast side's hopes of promotion. Sussex would soon get a taste of their own medicine. The conditions were still conducive to bowling and Derbyshire took advantage early on. Salt was the first man to go, caught by Critchley off Rees in the 4th over. Rees would remove the other opener too, Wells bowled for 5. And the horror start continued at the hands of Sussex Academy graduate Finn Hudson-Prentice, who trapped Will Beer LBW for 9 with his first ball of the match. But despite the early success, Derbyshire weren't able to build on their momentum. Stiaan van Zyl and Delray Rawlins led the rebuilding effort, the deficit starting to tumble as the pair began to find the boundary. They shared a 50-run partnership in their effort to steady the ship. When play was brought to a close for the day, Sussex were 116 for 3, trailing by 22 runs. Van Zyl had taken the lead in the closing stages and finished the day on 49 not out. His first priority will be finding the single to take him to his half-century. From there, Sussex looked capable of pushing well past Derbyshire's total, but quick wickets on the morning of day 2 could put a spanner in the works. Inspired Lewis Rees innings erases Sussex advantage as Derbyshire take the lead. Sussex had enjoyed themselves on the first day of play. They'd been inspired by David Visa with the ball, who produced an impressive spell of bowling to help his side restrict Derbyshire to 138 all out. They'd suffered a scare of their own and were forced to depend on the combination of Stiaan van Zyl and Delray Rawlins to put on a bit of a rescue job. That saw them finish the day on 116 for 3, trailing by 22 runs and 91 runs added for the 4th wicket. And with the 7th second day ball, Van Zyl brought up a deserved half-century. Rawlins wouldn't be able to stick around though, caught at wide mid-on off the bowling of Rees. Ben Brown fell to his next ball, caught behind for a duck. Van Zyl and Visa stuck together and saw Sussex take the lead. but the South African partnership was separated for Rees's third of the innings and 50th of the campaign. Van Zyl out LBW for 60. Chris Jordan's stay would be brief, falling to Hudson Prentice. The Sussex Academy graduate would also end Wies's innings, out for 24, caught by McKiernan. Garton and Robinson added some important resistance to the innings, taking Sussex to their first batting point of the day, 200 runs reached. Robinson was out soon after though, and the Sussex innings looked like it was drawing to a close. Garton had other ideas though, and he continued to bat, finding his way to a maiden first-class half-century as the lead headed towards 3 figures. But he'd fall next ball, out for 50, his side all out for 231, leading by 93. One Ollie Robinson over before lunch would see Derbyshire go into the lunch interval at 1 for no loss. And with beaming sun baking the Derbyshire wicket, Godderman and Rees filled their boots. Try as they might, the Sussex bowlers could do little to press home their advantage as the home side's score began to soar. First came the 50 partnership. Then Rees's half-century, scored off 61 balls. And in the blink of an eye, the Sussex lead was erased without the loss of a single Derbyshire wicket. There was no stopping them, the score now into 3 figures, and Billy Godderman batting his way to his 1000th County Championship run of the season. His 50 came soon after, a deserved reward for a captain's knock. But Rees was outshining his skipper, and he'd find himself on 100 a couple of overs later, scored at almost a run a ball. By the time the second session was brought to a close by the tea interval, Derbyshire had reached 170 without loss and taken the initiative. Sussex had a big session ahead of them. They'd failed to make any inroads after lunch and were looking for a way back into the match. The lead reached 100 shortly after play resumed, Derbyshire continuing to frustrate the bowlers. Rees was playing wonderfully. A 150 came for the Derbyshire opener, just reward for a fine showing. The home side was starting to disappear out of sight and Sussex shoulders were slumping. When they finally did extricate Rees, he'd moved on to 184. Godderman, now joined by Madsen, helped the lead past 200. 300 runs came and went quickly as the shadows began to lengthen. The skipper's diligence brought him his century, the total now more than 350, with the day's play drawing to a close. Sussex would find a second before the close of play, Madsen caught behind off Topley. But that's all they would muster before the day came to an end, Derbyshire closing on 360 for 2. Lewis Rees had done the majority of the damage and Sussex will be reeling, their promotion hopes left in tatters. They'll take heart in their first innings performance, knowing that despite their opponent's total, the lead is still almost 100 runs lower at 267. But if the visitors still have designs on a win, quick wickets are a necessity to ensure that target stays within reach. Sussex's promotion hopes put to bed after defeats to Derbyshire. Derbyshire will have enjoyed the second day of play at the Patternare County Ground. Lewis Rees was the man of the moment. He'd completed a 5-wicket haul to bowl Sussex out before piling on the runs, hitting 184 as Derbyshire took control of the match. He'd fallen by the time play came to a close with the score 360 for 2, the home side leading by 267, but captain Billy Godderman remained, he too picking up a century on the second day. Joined by Anuj Dal, he'd resume on 106, but wouldn't be able to improve on his score, Ollie Robinson striking with the first ball of the day to remove the Derbyshire skipper. A few overs later, Dal too was removed, Robinson once again with the wicket. And a third of the morning came off the next ball, Hosin trapped LBW for a duck. Robinson was on fire, and his excellent morning was to continue, the new ball providing another wicket, Critchley caught behind. And the Sussex bowler soon had his 6th 5-wicket haul of this season, McKiernan caught by Salt for 7. Deploy and Hudson Prentice put a stop to the visitors' momentum and saw their side towards 400, the lead now more than 300. Topley would bring that partnership to an end. Deploy trapped LBW for 28. He'd have another. Hudson Prentice caught on the boundary by Garton. And the Derbyshire innings was over with the very next ball. Melton LBW for a duck. The side retired for 437. Sussex set an imposing 345 to win. Time was on their side though, and they'd chip 8 runs off the total in the 2 overs they could fit in before lunch. Wells and Salt added 22 runs to the total before Derbyshire picked up their first wicket. Hudson Prentice seeing Wells caught by McKinnon for 5. Beer joined Salt and the pair took Sussex past 50, but the home side were looking threatening and another wicket wasn't far behind. It would be the number 3 who fell, LBW to Dahl for 19. Dahl would remove Salt too, caught for 38 by Madsen. And then he'd have a third. Sussex 10 runs short of the 100, Rawlins pouched by Godderman for 11. Brown and Van Zyl would see Sussex to tea at 94 for 4. That partnership took Sussex past 100 after the restart. Hudson Prentice struck again, catching Van Zyl's edge to remove the South African. He'd have Visa with his next ball, caught behind for a duck, Sussex stumbling. And then Chris Jordan was removed, caught by subfielder Van Beek for Melton's first of the innings. Garton was the next man to go, fending off Critchley only for the ball to dribble onto his stumps. Critchley then removed Robinson, bowled for 7, Sussex on the verge of defeat. And a few overs later, disappointment was confirmed for the visitors. Topley plumb in front for 5 by Critchley, Sussex defeated by 181 runs and faint hopes of promotion in tatters, with it now mathematically impossible for them to reach Division 1. It had been a remarkable turnaround for Derbyshire. They'd been on the back foot after the first day of play, but the second innings performances of Rees and Godderman had seen those tables turn. That all but ends Sussex's season. Their final fixture sees them host Worcestershire in Hove, while Derbyshire aim to make history with a trip to Edgbaston for finals day this weekend.